Since you're starting or already building a side hustle on top of a very full life, you've probably felt this. You're putting in the time, you're doing all the things, but it still feels like there's never enough time to actually gain traction or make any real money. So that's what we're focusing on in this very condensed episode. George Rivera has built and scaled multiple seven-figure businesses, which sounds great. But what he realized is that making more money didn't give him more freedom. In fact, it did the opposite. So now, while also running his real estate business, George focuses on helping entrepreneurs buy back their time. Because if your side hustle depends on you doing everything, it's going to lead to burnout and you earning less than you should. We're starting with a quick speed round, 4 things that you can check against your side hustle right away. I'm Joan Posavy, and this is Side Hustle Hero. So what's one system everyone with a side hustle should install in their first 90 days?
SOPs, standard operating procedures.
What's one scorecard or metric that they should track weekly?
Revenue.
And what's one thing they should stop doing immediately?
Things that they hate.
And what's one thing that they should automate this month?
Meetings.
All right, so you've given us 4 solid action items there to work with. You just mentioned revenue. That was the first thing, and that came very quickly. Tell us about the importance of that and why that was your answer.
When we start a side hustle or any kind of business, it's to make additional money. So we need to make sure that our effort is going towards bringing in the revenue. And that's what's going to fund us the ability to be efficient, get more help, and help us really grow and scale the side hustle.
And then be paying attention to those things that you're doing that are actually resulting in those sales.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to have you focusing on the things that bring in the revenue and have systems for everything else.
And it's not necessarily that the side hustle is going to generate revenue from day one.
Yeah, absolutely. It does take some time. So I would set yourself a time frame to what you're going to give yourself to start generating revenue, just so that you know that there's an initial point that we're expected to make money, because obviously side hustles are going to cost us time and money to get going, and you don't want to have no plan for revenue growth. So I'd set a time when you expect the revenue to come, and then commit yourself a budget and the time to get there.
I like the idea of setting that deadline as well, because this is something that we're adding on to our already full lives, creating this side hustle. It's easy to continue to put it off, to postpone things, particularly if it requires things that we're not necessarily skilled at or out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, absolutely.
George wrote a book about how he escaped the 80-hour work week and got his life back. It's called the Buy Back Time Formula. So I was curious, what is the formula?
It's a system, and it starts with auditing your time. And so you have to go through and essentially shine a light on what you do, act like you have a camera on you 24/7 for 2 weeks. Not as hard as it sounds, but
Right.
You got to document everything, because if you're being judgmental about, should I write this, should I not, you're going to miss things you should document. And then you give yourself $1 per hour. You apply this no matter the size of your company. You give yourself a dollar amount of what your time is worth. Maybe somebody listening, hey, my time's worth $30 an hour or $50 an hour. Doesn't matter. I was doing things well under my dollar an hour that I gave myself. And when I did that, I realized that half of my time was going on stuff that I should have been delegating. And at this time, I'm working 80 hours a week. I didn't even know there were 80 hours in a week. And so for not a lot of money compared to the revenue I was bringing in, I could have bought back half of my sanity. And what that means is now I'm only working on the things that I love. But instead of working all this time the old way on the things that I love, because I was slow and efficient, always switching between different contexts and just low efficiency and low joy for life, essentially. Now that time is much less, and I'm much more less stressed. I'm more encouraged. I'm only doing what I love, and somebody else is doing all the other stuff. And they love doing that stuff. There's people that love to do the things you don't love to do.
Absolutely.
And so that's what kind of makes the things function. At least that's my experience. And then once you get that list of things you shouldn't be doing, you run it through the eliminate anything that doesn't move the needle. You automate anything that repeats, and then you delegate, but you delegate with ownership.
Yeah. And you and I both know it does take sometimes we luck out in the beginning, but oftentimes it takes a while to find that rock star VA contractor, whoever it is. But once you get them, keep them.
Absolutely. That's a good tip right there. and it's not as expensive as one thinks. And once you get going, there's so much good talent all over the world capable for much less than you think to take these tests that for me, they would just suck the life out of me. It's like I can do it, but like I don't enjoy it, and it's taking me away from doing things that I'm better at.
And so you mentioned the cost, and I know that's going to depend on the complexity of the task and the qualifications of the person, but what could somebody expect to pay?
Honestly, like I've had good help for as little as $3 an hour. I know that sounds insanely low, or $3 USD. I've had good help from people like in Pakistan, and you'll get like young, capable, college-educated people willing to do good work at that rate.
And I know one side hustle hero that's been on, it was for graphic artist work. And he went to a local high school and hired these kids in grade 11, grade 12 that really knew what they were doing. And he said, I would much rather pay them $15 an hour and get back to what he does really well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's even better. Going local, you support your local community, you help finance a kid's dream and help him do what he loves to do. It's a win-win for everybody.
Now, here's George's best tip to start and grow your side hustle.
I would say follow and listen to people who've been there and who've done it, and don't listen to people who haven't been there, because we are surrounded by plenty of people who give you their opinions, and that's fine. Take them. They probably love you and giving you the best advice that they can, but have they ever done what you're trying to do, and have they ever been where you're trying to go? And if the answer is no, then find somebody who has and then listen to them.
So here's a question I'll leave you with. What's one thing that you're doing right now that you shouldn't be? And more importantly, what's one thing you could hand off, automate, or just stop doing altogether? Because if your side hustle is going to pay, it can't depend on you doing everything. Full disclosure, I need to ask myself these same questions. Delegating has never been my strength. It's something I'm still working on. I'm having some small wins, but it's still very much a work in progress. And one more thing. George tells me he's offering his book for just the cost of shipping. You can find it and connect with him at buybacktimeformula.com. Well, that's a wrap for today. If our chats are sparking your entrepreneurial spirit and providing valuable insights, consider showing your support by visiting sidehustlehero.com/support. That's where you can shoot me a virtual coffee. It's a real thing and a fun way to give the show a caffeinated thumbs up. Thank you so much. You'll find the full show notes at our website, sidehustlehero.com. If you're enjoying what you're seeing in this podcast, it would be so appreciated if you would take a moment and add your comment, share the episode, and please subscribe. It'll let others know that there's valuable content here for them to start and grow their side hustle. Thanks for watching, and hustle on.